I was half asleep, watching the water turn silver before dawn, when a security alarm exploded to my waterfront condo at exactly 5 a.m. The sound wasn't just loud, it was panicked, urgent, wrong. My phone lit up at the same moment with a single message from building security. Stay where you are. That was when I knew this wasn't a drill, and whatever was happening downstairs had my name written all over it. The night before, I'd come home late after closing the biggest deal of my career. The condo, with its glass walls and private dock, was something I'd earned after years of being underestimated, especially by one person. Marcus Hale, my former business partner, the man who smiled while stealing my clients, who testified against me in a lawsuit he himself had engineered, who walked away rich while I rebuilt everything from scratch. I swung my feet onto the cold floor and peered through the blinds. Red and blue lights reflected off the water. A security guard I recognized, Evan, stood rigid near the entrance, blocking someone from entering. Even from 20 floors up, I could tell the man arguing with him was furious. He gestured wildly, suit jacket wrinkled, hair disheveled. Marcus. My heart didn't race. It steadied. I remembered the night he locked me out of our shared office, changed the passwords, and called it just business. I remembered the months of silence from clients I brought in, the whispers that I was unreliable, unstable. All lies he'd planted carefully. What Marcus never realized was that while I was rebuilding, I was also watching. Evan's voice crackled through my intercom. Sir, this individual claims he has a right to access your unit. Does he? I said calmly, asking for proof. Marcus pulled out his phone, shoving it toward Evan. I could almost hear his voice, smooth, convincing, practiced. He'd always been good at that. What he didn't know was that I'd anticipated this moment weeks ago. You see, Marcus had tried to buy this condo through a shell company months earlier, hoping to force me out once he discovered I owned it. When that failed, he tried another route, claiming partial ownership through a forged agreement from our old partnership, a document he assumed I'd never see. But I did see it, and I let him think it worked. I'd hired a forensic accountant, a digital analyst, and a very patient attorney. We traced the shell companies, the fake signatures, the altered timestamps. I gave Marcus just enough silence to believe he was winning. Enough rope. Downstairs, Evan shook his head. Sir, this document doesn't match our records. Marcus's face twisted. He shouted something I couldn't hear, then tried to push past. That was when the second security team arrived, and the police behind them. I finally stepped onto my balcony, the morning breeze cool against my skin. I leaned over the glass railing, just as Marcus looked up and saw me. Our eyes met. His confidence shattered into confusion, then fear. Good morning, I called down, my voice carrying over the water. Early start. He yelled my name, demanded I come down, said this was a misunderstanding. The same word he'd used years ago when everything I'd built collapsed overnight. An officer approached him, asking questions. Another pulled up information on a tablet. The color drained from Marcus's face as the officer read aloud. Attempted fraud, identity falsification, intent to unlawfully seize property. I watched silently as they handcuffed him. Later, Evan came up to check on me. You okay, sir? Never better, I said. By the time the sun fully rose, Marcus Hale was sitting in the back of a patrol car, his empire unraveling faster than he ever unraveled mine. The charges would stick. The evidence was airtight, and the investors he'd impressed with stolen confidence would disappear just as quickly. I poured myself a cup of coffee and sat by the window, watching the water glow gold. Revenge didn't come with shouting or fists or drama the way movies promised. Sometimes it came quietly, at 5 a.m., with patience, preparation, and the satisfaction of knowing that the man who tried to erase you had just been stopped at the door of everything you rebuilt without him.